Take my time, take it easier. Don't need no lines, 'cause my moves are hot, and I never stop, girl.
What's up, guys? It is Friday, July 9th, and this is Fridays with Kage here on the OTK. Okay, so it's unbearably freaking disgusting hot, so that is why I am not wearing a shirt today. Also, it is week 22, and this week's topic is, how do you identify as an entertainer? What are some terms or IDs that offend you? Does this make it hard for you in pageants and other competitions? Okay, so first off, as an entertainer, I identify as a male entertainer or a trans king. I do not identify in any way female, and I'm not a stripper, so I'm not a male stripper. So I'm just a male entertainer or trans king. Terms or IDs that offend me, I absolutely cannot stand, as Rory was saying, whenever a drag queen or someone who's not a king or trans brings me on as she or something like that, that really bothers me. I guess what really, really bothers me is when you are outed to an entire audience, by a fellow trans person. Like a drag queen, well, trans queen, I guess, a female, a male-bodied female entertainer, so you could say it's a drag queen, okay, comes on and outs you to the entire audience, and she also is transgender. She lives her life as a she, and if anyone ever brought her on as him, she'd probably kill you, but she still refers to you as, outs you in front of the whole crowd. That's just ridiculous. Or, if they were to call you she, that would be terrible. Like Rory said, I would never even do that, think about it. So yeah, I don't like being called a drag king. I don't mind like FTM king, trans king, anything with those titles in them. Male entertainer is preferred, whatever, a spade's a spade, I guess. Competitions. Well, as far as entertaining, I guess what I really, really don't like is when the audience automatically assumes that I'm a girl. That bothers me. Or like they look at me funny and go, oh, well, that's all real, that's all yours, and they're like amazed by it. It's like, yeah, men have facial hair. That's, something I thought everybody knew, but I guess not. Anyway, yeah, so that's that. But competitions and pageants, I really don't like them. I don't do it for acclaim, so my philosophy is I've gotten to where I am through hard work, perseverance, and networking, which is what all of us are trying to do. And, I don't need a title to, be who I am. So that's why I don't do pageants and competitions. But like Rory said, I feel like I'm cheating. Like I don't have to put anything on my face. I do still bind, but I feel not like I have something over, because I've seen plenty of male illusionists, which is another title I don't like to call myself. I'm sorry, that's a title I do like to call myself. Well, no, I can't really say I'm a male illusionist, because I'm not putting on an illusion that I'm male, because I am male. I guess what I'm really trying to say is that I entertain for, the shock value if I choose to tell someone that I'm trans, because then they're like, no way, but I don't do that often, because it leads to people, confusing pronouns and using the wrong stuff. I mean, that's just not cool. I don't think that I have anything on, female-bodied, entertainers who are refer themselves as drag kings. Like, I don't feel like because I live as a man that, it makes it, makes me better than a drag king. What I think is that it kind of gives me an unfair advantage because, I live as male. I'm always this way. This is me. This isn't just a skin or a costume or a mask or anything like that. So I guess that's why I feel like it's an unfair advantage. Like I said, I don't have to apply facial hair. In fact, good example of this, last night at Bounce, Donnie and I performed with Jujubee from RuPaul's Drag Race. And we did Starstruck by 303 and Katy Perry. And Jujubee was Katy Perry in the mix, so it was really nice. But anyway, we were in the dressing room, and I was already taped and everything, but Donnie was putting on his facial hair, and he was looking right in the mirror. And then I was on the other side of the mirror, in the other mirror down the way, shaving off the excess. So I'm trying to keep this, clean on my cheeks. And Jujubee was, like, just kind of looking for a minute, like, and then, I mentioned it to Donnie that it was kind of funny. I thought that he was putting something on and I was taking it off, but we were really doing the same thing. And, Jujubee said, yeah, you kind of confused me because, you were shaving. That kind of threw me off. So, I mean, in that sense, like, when she met Donnie, when she met me, she asked, how do you identify? Like, because she didn't want to be rude. And that's the education that Rory was talking about. I'm not offended if someone wants to ask because they want to know what to refer to me as. I'm only offended when someone asks, they just come up all rude and, like, oh, you used to be a girl, didn't you? Like, that really bothers me. Because I don't really feel that I ever was a girl. If that makes any sense. So, yeah. But yeah, competitions and pageants, I've got it down. I live like this every day, so it's almost like cheating. So, I'm going to agree with Rory on that 100%. And like he said, most pageants that you run into are fixed, so it's really not worth your time anyway, because you're wasting money and whatnot. So, yeah, that was my video for week 22 here. Once again, if you have questions for us, ohtransKings@gmail.com or here on YouTube. And next week's topic is our first user emailed question. When do you think Ohio is going to allow gender markers changed on the birth certificate? Do you ever think it's going to happen or no? Also, do you think it would make being an FTM easier, as in being able to legally marry in Ohio and sign the birth certificate as a father? Okay, well, it's a good topic, so we will catch you guys next week. Peace out.